The He podcast is presented by Villanis in Marang by Alin Anwar. Who is he? He is me. Hi, I'm Rafi Redzwan. This is he. Here is my chance to share some amazing stories with some amazing people that are inspiring to me. He celebrates everyday people of everyday life. He revolves around conversations that inspire others to change the world and make a difference in life, with a little bit of laughter and a whole lot of drama. Join me for personal stories and experiences on health and healing, successes and failures, recovery and discovery, anything relatable, and anything in between. He elevates us to rise again and live our very best life. Just so you know, you are not alone. He is with you. Two sisters have turned their seaside dream into reality with Villanis, a serene retreat named in honor of their beloved grandfather, Anis. Co-owned by Alin Anwar, a renowned entrepreneur and wedding planner with a passion for wellness and yoga, Villanis offers an intimate sanctuary for women seeking healing and self-love. The retreats, designed by a team of wellness professionals, are limited to just 8 guests, allowing for a personalized experience. Visitors can enjoy peaceful kampong life, home-cooked meals, yoga sessions, spa treatments, and the calming embrace of nature. For guests traveling from Kuala Lumpur, transportation is provided to ensure a seamless experience. To view schedules and event dates, visit Villanis_Marang, that's VILLANIS_MARANG on Instagram, or click the link in the description below. Hi Nadia Fauzi,
Hi, Rifi.
how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Wow, it's such an honor to have you on He this season. I am so proud that you say yes to me.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure as well.
Yes, and I think I mentioned to you, I really feel like you are the Martha Stewart of Malaysia in the
Voila.
UK.
No, I'm sure there are more.
Yeah. And highly influential. I think people looked up to you in your opinions and the things you post. You started from basically, I think when you moved to the UK, and you started from zero. And then you really work your way up to become this influential in the journey of homemaker.
Yeah,
Yeah? Am I right? Yeah?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Being a
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom in the UK, I basically started from nothing. Yeah, and it's been a
Yes.
journey. It's been an
Yeah.
exciting journey.
Yeah. And
But
I'm
yeah,
proud of it
yeah,
because I don't think it's easy.
no, it's not. It's not.
Mm.
Especially when your child hits teenagehood.
Mm-mm.
That's when, things
That's
get.
one thing to really talk about too, because I mean, I cannot imagine having my son off for college soon, you know?
Yeah.
I would be very devastated. And
He
you
would
know,
be proud as well. Be proud of
yeah.
what he's become, what he's achieved.
Tapi apa nama tu? Apa attachment anxiety tu betul. It's real, right?
It is real. It took me a few weeks to adjust and then a few months to be okay. But I think for me, at least, I know the fact that he's still in the UK. Okay lah, it's 7.5 hour drive away. But still, if I were to take the flight, it's only an hour away. Unlike some of my friends who are back in Malaysia or in Australia, who've got kids in America, in the UK, and it would be a very long flight to see them in case there are emergencies. So at least he's in the same continent.
Yeah, yeah, yes. So you usually drive to go to see him,
No, we take the train. It's
the
too much.
train.
It's too long of a drive. So the train takes about 4.5 hours. Or he comes back. Yeah.
I hope that we explore the notion that true happiness is often found in the simple, homemade moments of life. And I hope you provide insights on creating joy and contentment within the home, and daily routines are shared. The power of meaningful connections, creative hobbies, and small acts of love that brightens our lives. I hope we delve into that as well. Now, discovering everyday joy, I find it difficult to begin with when I started to become a homemaker nearly, wow, 10 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. Can you share a bit about your journey? It's just the difference is between, yes, about the same time. The difference is you made it. I didn't.
No, who's to say I made it? You are still doing the journey. I've got a younger boy. I'm still in the journey, you know. Like I don't the journey will ever stop. You know, there's no destination. There's no destination. You know, it's
The journey,
a
kan?
long
It's the
ride.
journey. Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
long
yeah, yeah.
journey, you know. And our kids will always need us, no matter the age. I would hope they would, you know, like be there for.
But no regret, kan? The journey that we choose ni as a homemaker need to get to
Sometimes
be
we
with
get so
them.
hard. I do regret it, but then I try and think of the good times. I mean, we're only human, kind, like you know.
Betul. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it started when we moved. When we were living in KL, I was working for my family business. My parents started the business back in 1983. I graduated uni and then I started working for them. Then my husband got a job offer to London in 15. So we then made the move. I decided then that I would stay at home and be with Irfan, our eldest. At the time,
Yes.
Imran wasn't in the picture yet. To spend more time with him, to be with him, to see the joy of him going to school, coming back, just being there. And then that's also when I started cooking. I never did cook back in Malaysia, believe it or not, because mom's a good cook. And then, you've got plenty of restaurants and stalls in Malaysia, and it's, I think, cheaper to eat out in KL than to cook. So more often than not, we would eat out. And if I were to cook pun, it's like something simple: fried rice, fried noodles, pasta, soup, things like that. Nothing elaborate. So then when we moved, I started missing home cooked food. Then I started asking my mom for her recipes for both my maternal and paternal grandmother's recipes, because both of them are great cooks as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I compiled them and I print them out. I should actually put this in a book or something. I
Yeah,
print them
yes.
out and they are in my folder. And I would, I would refer to them, but like simple things, macam kurma or curry. It's quite simple. Well, then it wasn't simple, but now I can do it without referring to recipes. But macam like during the pandemic, when everyone was just cooking and baking and making all sorts, I then had to also refer to my father-in-law because he's Kelantanese. So my husband missed nasi kerabu ayam percik. And for the life
Mm.
of me, I've never had a good nasi kerabu back in KL. I think I was just given the wrong ones by the wrong people and not knowing any better. So I had a sort of like a phobia eating nasi kerabu.
Yeah.
And to me, ayam penyet is always, the yellow ones, the turmeric ones you see in pasar
Uh-uh.
malam. But
Yes.
apparently it's not. It's santan. It's putih. So
Putih.
it's putih. So then I had to ask my father-in-law for recipe, and then I started making all that. I even made pulut. I made lemang. I made cakes. I am not a baker. I don't like baking because it can be quite stressful, as you need to be exact in the measurements. For me, cooking is more chill because I can just
Mm-hmm.
agak-agak guesstimate,
Betul.
if the
Mm-mm.
correct word in English.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's much easier, and so then started cooking, started making all sorts. Then friends said, hey, why don't you start selling what you make? And at first I was quite hesitant because I was juggling. Okay, at the time I had Imran, I have Irfan, pandemic and cooking and everything. So I was juggling. I was putting on multiple hats at one time, juggling everything. And like you said, it's not an easy journey.
Mm-mm.
But persevered, and then here we are now.
Hmm. Now that you have discovered the importance of finding happiness in everyday moments, it's basically just at home. Now, the simple joys you found, what are the simple homemade activities or routine that bring you the most joy?
I still enjoy it, especially when I cook for others, and I usually cook early in the morning when no one's awake, so I get that time to be myself, to be creative, to think about other things. But it's interesting that you mention finding happiness. People often strive for big milestones to be happy, like promotion or travel or major achievements. Um,
Mm-mm.
but To me, fleeting moments of joy are often found in the simple everyday things. For example,
Mm-mm.
a shared laugh over breakfast or dinner, basically any meals with your loved ones, or the serenity of sipping tea, coffee, hot chocolate. I'm a hot chocolate person while watching the rain, or say a simple heartfelt thank you from a stranger. You hold the door open for a stranger. Usually, a lot of people just disregard you and just walk out. But when you get that thank you for something that you do, you sort of feel special. At
Mm-mm.
least for me. So yeah, this realization that happiness is not about a destination but a mindset,
Mm.
much of what I share, like, because
Mm-mm.
you and I are both busy parents, right? But
Mm-mm.
for me, like, I also find joy in the chaos of family life by
Mm-mm.
focusing on these fleeting, precious moments with the kids.
And then like sambil you do those, I see your snapshots of your flat lays, and then when you walk to pick up Imran, is your son, the young Imran from school, I see you, all these little things you juggling them flawlessly, multitask them so flawlessly.
I thank you, but I think because it's, I don't know, it's how I see it, and then I'm like,
Mm-mm.
this is something special to me, and
Mm.
recording a 1 second video and then just putting them all together shows like, okay, this is my day. I've got people asking me, hey, why don't you show me what you do on a daily basis, like from morning to evening? But to me,
But that's your daily basis.
that's a lot of
Am
work
I?
because I have to put the camera angle myself. I know a lot, some creators do
No.
that, but it takes a lot of
Yeah.
work. You nak tengok I change the bed sheet, you nak tengok I potong sayur, you nak tengok I do this. Then the camera has to
True.
move. But for me,
Yeah.
I am going out and I'm shooting all this. It's just me taking the phone out, angle,
Mm-mm.
one
Mm-mm. That's more authentic, I feel.
yeah.
I feel that in that journey to this day, when I was trying to understand and feel Nadia Fauzi behind the scene and everything, I did notice that there is no scene of you doing stuff. Unless, well, occasionally you may have someone to go your videos, ka? Tapi most of the time, you through the lens of your eyes. And it's
And
more
I'm more
authentic that
comfortable
way.
that way. I'm more
Yeah.
comfortable behind the lens as opposed to in front of the
Yeah.
lens. That's why
And
it
it's
took me a while to reply you to do this podcast, because I'm like,
it's okay.
it's nerve wracking. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
I am comfortable speaking with people who I'm familiar with, but if you were to ask me to speak to a crowd of, I don't know how many hundred people,
Mm-mm.
I get very scared. Honestly, I get very scared. And I know even during
Mm-mm.
uni, my friends would say, because you have to give presentation, like, oh, just ignore and just look one corner. I'm like, ya Allah, tengok all.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's also interesting you said, and you told me this, about happiness isn't about getting that promotion or getting that numbers of followers, kappa. If you found that simple things in life, you wouldn't be that. Because I think it took a while for me to accept that this is just me now. It's okay. I
Yeah,
love it's okay. This
yeah.
is I'm good. I'm good with it. Tapi before this, oh my god, I would count my likes, I would count my numbers of views and stuff like that.
The numbers game, I don't know, the algorithm is just crazy.
Mm,
And I don't go on TikTok because it's noise
mm,
that I cannot sift through, so it's too noisy for me. I can't, so I stay in my
mm,
lane in Instagram, or sometimes I
mm,
go on Threads, and then but and it's much nicer there. But like you said, the number game, it's even from before. I remember when we moved here, I started doing all this styling and working for brands. I
mm.
would go and key opinion
Influence.
leaders or
Oh.
influencers or whatever terms you want to call them, or content creators. And they've got all these names. I don't like labeling, so whatever the name suits. Okay. So I meet these people, and the first thing they'll always ask is, how many followers do you have? I'm like,
Mm-mm.
I'm a person. Why don't you get to know me as a person before you ask me how many people are following me, or what are my numbers?
Mm-mm.
Because
Mm-mm.
then it becomes very
Yeah.
transactional.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then and I think because they are very young, like in their early 20s, whereas I was in my mid 30s. So
Mm-mm.
I didn't have the need to prove. Of course, I needed to prove myself, but I didn't need to prove myself to everyone. And I think
Yes.
what a lot of youngsters nowadays, or maybe people my age, or generally because of social media, people try very hard to get others to like them, and then they
Mm-mm.
end up not being themselves, and then it becomes very hard on them, and they get upset, they get depressed, and all these mental health issues come.
Betul.
And it's not good. You can't let strangers define who you are or social media. I had a chat with one person yesterday,
Mhm.
so she's got
Mhm.
like almost 200,000 followings. She's Malaysian, and she basically makes recipe videos, right? And people are so hard on her. I want the recipe now. Why are you not sharing with me now? And then she would say, oh, I've shared it before, you just need to scroll down. I don't want to scroll down, give me the link now. And very
Hmm.
demanding. And it
Mm-mm.
gets to her. So sometimes she goes off social media for a few days before, calming herself down, and then she gets back. So I told her, I said, I think you need to be firm and tell them off. Okay, you don't need to
Mm-mm.
be rude, but maybe still nice. But people need to realize that the world doesn't revolve around them. If the
Yeah.
person wants to share, they will share. If the person wants to answer your question, they will answer. Like, I have all my NGL questions some people ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certain things I don't reply because it's just, I don't know. It's just insane how
Vulgar.
they think it's okay to ask these kind of questions. So I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
ignore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things that I'm okay to answer, I will answer. But even then, when I answer, I get all sorts of comments as well. But, it's fine.
Mm.
So people really need, like, I don't know what Malaysians call them, netizens, need to chill and stop this whole, if I follow someone needs to do as I say, A, B, C, D, E, because then that person would be very frustrated and doesn't find joy in that anymore. And when that person doesn't find joy
Yeah.
anymore, then you're the
Mm-mm.
losing end, because then she's not going to share or he's not going to share. So what's the point then? And then
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
person goes through a period of depression ke, mental health issues ke, who's going to help them? They have to be there for themselves.
People like netizens, what Malaysian call, they think
Yeah.
they own them.
Yes.
They own them. They can demand anything, write anything they want. And I sometimes saw some of the things they reply to you, and you share a bit of scripture to just, share the conversation, for example. And I'm like, this is what they sent to you. I'm like, wow, Brani, no.
Because they hide behind anonymity. Because they hide behind, you don't know who they are. And
Oh,
even if you their Instagram handle, it's more often than not, it's a fake account or a bot. They hide
mm-mm,
behind that. Because I bet you no one in their right mind will come up to anyone and say, hey, this is what I think of you, A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
mm-mm, mm-mm,
and be rude about it. There is no
mm-mm.
way. They only there because they are behind the screen. They are protected behind the screen.
I have a feeling they could be someone we know, because the only time I could know was someone created a fake account,
Mm-hmm.
like 2 weeks ago, like that month, this month, for example, just to say he is retarded, you know,
As
on
in
the
you are
comments. I mean, yeah, he is in the show, and then post on my comments, he
uh-huh.
is retarded. He is a lot of nasty ones lah on all my guests yang collaboration punya the comment. Tak tahu. Lepas tu I macam ignore je lah.
Yeah.
Tapi but
If,
tapi
if you say it
inten
doesn't affect you. Yeah.
intentionally memang created just to do that. Okay lah, I got the attention in that sense, the negative side of it. Ooh, I'm famous. But of course, it affected me for a while. Like, why would this person do this to me?
Actually reading on threads. I'm not sure how true it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually true. So she's this person started a business and she was doing quite well. Then one day she started receiving hate messages from an anonymous person. And initially she just ignored, but
Mm,
after a while it got to her, like, how it affected you, how it affected me, how it affected everyone else.
yeah.
She decided to, okay, I'm going to block this person. In Instagram, if you block one person, it also blocks all other accounts associated with,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Then she was like, why can't I view my best friend's account? Because when she went to the best friend's account, it shows like, when you block a person, you can't see anything, right, in the page. So then
mm-hmm.
she was like, okay, let's unblock that person who was being mean to me. And then she managed to see the best friend's account again.
Oh,
So the best friend who made that account to say all these nasty things to her because she was either jealous ke apa ke, God knows. But you're right, there are people who is close to us or in our circle who might have done this to us. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. So now I'm very careful with people, even if they are my friends.
yeah.
just be careful in general. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, people say, "Oh, but you tend to share
True.
what I see on Instagram." I say, "Yes, but that's
Mm.
2% of my life. You don't know what goes
Mm-mm.
behind. You don't know what I do or how I spend my day or the things that I've been doing.
Mm.
Okay, lah, I share what I want to share, but that's just two
Yeah.
percent of
Yeah.
my life." Yeah,
Yes, exactly. And then I think only I mean, not a lot of people get that. And every time when people think we made something public, it's just
mm,
1% of that public
mm,
story,
exactly.
right? And then there's a still joy of being private while being
Yeah,
public, you know?
yeah. I know some people
Yeah.
say, "Oh, you shouldn't be sharing too much," but then I also
It's,
feel that some of my followers, they would say thanks for sharing the snippets of my daily routine,
mm,
because
mm-mm.
then they find joy in that, for
Joy.
that whatever
Yeah,
15 seconds, 20 seconds
exactly.
out of their routine life. Because it's the same with me. I follow other people and then I see how they spend their day, and that gives me joy as well. So it takes you out of your routine and escapism just for a bit, and be happy
Mm-mm.
with it, and then you go back to your routine.
Yeah, wow, well said, Nadia. Now, going to in this creative hobbies, how do you integrate these creative hobbies into your daily life, and what impact do they have on your overall happiness?
I would have to say cooking. So cooking for my family is one of my favorite activities. It's a way to nurture them. I also you know share the love through the food with my family, and I share how things are made with my kids, especially my eldest son Irfan, who's at uni. So he now does all the basic, because he needs to cook on his own, right? There's
Yes.
no mama to cook for him. So so basic stuff he knows how to do. And I love, we try also to have meals around the dinner table on weekdays, to learn about each other's day. And that, I think, memories as well, especially for Imran, who's the younger one, because he's got like 10 million one things to tell me before, whilst having dinner. And my the routine of sending him to school each day, knowing that he's growing and learning, fills me with pride. Also, like I said, when we first moved here, I cherish being present during my children's activities, watching them improve, gain confidence, and develop new skills. And then on the weekends, we sort of have like a special tradition where we watch a movie together,
Mhm.
Netflix or Apple
Mm-mm.
TV or something. That's when we unwind, we share laughs, and bond over our favorite films. And Imran's current obsession is playing Uno, and playing it relentlessly brings him so much joy. It's a fun way to connect and see him so engaged. So he used to be a sore loser, much younger. And I think playing all these games and teaching him that there are winners and losers, and you can't just win all the time, or you won't lose all the time, is also a life skill, I think, for him to develop as he gets older. Because there'll be competition, there'll be exams. So he needs to know that it's okay that I've done my best, but it's also okay to not be the top person at school, although I've done my best. Because so many people are different in that sense. And then I would obviously tuck him at night. It gives me a sense of warmth knowing that I'm part of his safe space before he sleeps. Then there's Irfan. When he gives us updates, it fills my heart. It's a joy to hear about his life and know that he still values our opinions,
Yeah.
despite the distance and despite the age. Some at this age they tend to listen to their friends more than their parents. But I'm thankful that he still values our opinions. And that reminds me, while parenting can be tricky and there's no manual, and you can attest to that, the
Mm-mm.
moments we share and the bonds we build are what truly matter. And every child is different, and finding joy in these unique moments is what makes this journey more meaningful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. And I really believe that everything starts from home.
Yes, anything good
Kan?
and bad begins from home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And good and bad, yes,
Yes,
true that. And
yes.
I know it's harder to, especially for me sometimes, to admit that if I see something, where does this come from? Okay, it's from a TV. If Ryan watches something on TV, and it's
Mm.
my fault lah because I let him.
Yeah, of course.
I cannot blame the TV for the time.
No,
So again,
but then again, think about it. How can you see to him 24/7? You can't, right?
hey,
Because you're
I
doing it.
wouldn't watch what he watched because boring. I try to sit next to him and monitor every single word this show said. Tak
You can't
boleh.
monitor. No. So,
I
like macam Imran sometimes goes on YouTube Kids and watch all this Ryan game, Ryan or whatever.
Ryan,
It's
Ryan,
so
yeah.
entertaining, right? So we would block it. We'll say, Imran, this doesn't give you any life values, so please, watch, I don't know, Octonauts or Peppa
Mm-mm,
Pig or something young educational, because otherwise there's no point letting you watch the screen.
mm-mm.
Because sometimes, when he was younger, okay lah, people say, oh, you shouldn't introduce screen below 2. Come on, I need to cook, I need to
Yes,
do house chores. The
betul.
telly would be on for him maybe say 15 minutes, just so that I can do something without him calling mama, mama, mama 24/7, So I'm guilty of that, but I also restrict the content, and we don't allow him to watch beyond, now is half an hour. We don't let
Mm-mm,
him watch beyond half an hour. He knows it, or he will tell me, Mama, please on the timer, and I will switch it off in half an hour's time. Things like that. Yeah. But again, you can't monitor everything. No way you can monitor.
and we get very. It's daunting if you want to say control everything. Now
Yes.
he's 7, kan? I mean, there is some screen time of TV and sometimes the phone as well lah for
Yeah.
some games ke apa. I let him play lah. I wouldn't. At the same time, if every time I want to control and see every ads that appear, I would
Yeah.
lose myself.
Of course. How are you going to watch? Then
Yeah,
asa tu kerja tak boleh buat. Might as
tak
well
boleh.
and watch.
Lepas tu, ha. Lepas tu I fikir kenapa psycho diri sendiri, kan, and then I just let it go lah, tak apalah, just as long as I will continue to observe in terms of his behavior. Suddenly he say like, hey, stupid. Yeah, I know it comes from a TV.
Of course.
Uh,
Kena lepas tu. Like, you
Can I
want to watch?
explain lah?
Yeah, you explain.
Dia pun
I
now
think,
pandai search kan.
yes.
They're curious, they search, they type.
Yes, I think there are pros and cons to technology. And I think as long as we are able to explain to our children how it works, how they should navigate around it,
Mm-mm,
inshallah, it'll be okay. Because you can't completely say no to them and technology.
mm-mm.
But I also don't believe that they need to have their own phones at 7,
No, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
true,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
and, and be on a constant doom scrolling from one to another.
Mm.
YouTube, apa, shorts lah, TikTok lah,
Mm.
because these are all short,
Oh, no, no,
short
no
videos.
shorts.
Yeah, shorts, because
Eh,
their attention span is so sikit kan. Like sometimes Imran will say, oh, I'm bored. I'm like, Imran, mama dulu tak ada all these things. When you're bored is when you come up with ideas. So fine, be bored.
mm,
Go get
mm-mm.
paper and color pencil and start drawing or start building something with your Lego, So it's also good to
But
be bored.
yeah, and then they hopefully that they find something to do rather than doom scrolling. No, I know someone who let their kids doom scrolling YouTube Shorts. It's bad because YouTube Shorts, when your suggestions sometimes can be very 18 and above.
We use YouTube Kids. We don't use YouTube for Imran.
Hmm.
So I don't think there are shorts in there.
Tak ada,
But
tak ada. Kalau kids tak ada lah.
yeah,
Ini yang
but
parents yang bagi ni. I macam, bagi anak dia tengok.
susah nak cakap lah
Tapi nak cakap apa, biar je lah.
anak dia. So you can't say
Anak
too
dia.
much. They get offended ke. So hopefully, yeah. So like I said, anything good and bad
It starts
actually.
from home. Yeah, yeah. And I'm curious also, before you begin your day,
Mm.
I'm sure you will probably do some small acts of love, perhaps to yourself, and prepare a hot chocolate. Would you do this to your husband in the morning?
He prepares his own coffee because I don't drink coffee, so I don't know how to make coffee. Yes. Yeah, but he makes his own coffee. By the time he makes his own coffee, I'm already out of the house sending Imran to school because he works
Okay.
from home on most days. On certain days that he goes to office, he leaves earlier, but then so he cycles to work. He's a cyclist. He's been cycling since he was 13 for school, for daerah and everything. So he's an avid cyclist. So he cycles to work. So he usually leaves early, and office had the shower room, so he would shower at the office. So in the mornings, if it's a weekend, I would make breakfast for them. But generally, we're not breakfast people, except for Imran. Imran has breakfast, but coffee he would make. I
Mhm.
would just ask, do you want me to boil the hot water?
Yeah, then he can use the hot water for his coffee.
Yeah, but we've got the
Got a
Nespresso.
machine.
So
The
sometimes
machine. Okay.
he uses the pods.
Okay.
I've always wanted to learn how to make coffee and buat the latte art. I see a lot of my friends during
Mm-mm.
pandemic, they bought machines
Ah,
and then grind themselves and then make all this. Tapi because I don't drink, I don't know the standard to it. I don't know how to I don't know how to make coffee that's good or not good, or beans that are good or not good. And my husband, bless him, he's not very fast about this thing. So to him, a good coffee can be an Nespresso pot, really. And I know some friends who are like, no, 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 I need to buy beans from
Mm,
Monmouth or beans from
yeah.
ABC or Kenya or something, no, no, no coffee in the morning. Sorry, no.
Yeah. No, it's funny why I asked this because, I was trying to think like, okay, as a homemaker, what have I done to them? To think ideally kan, it's always about like preparing breakfast, ke apa. But then I fikir balik just to make myself feel better. Okay, I wake up in the morning and send them to school pun dah kira acts of love.
Yeah,
So
and
I
you
think yeah,
doing the chores at home. Who washes the
yes,
clothes? Who puts
nah,
away the clothes? Who irons
yeah.
the clothes? Who cleans the living room, the bedroom? Who makes the bed?
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Can I think sometimes we overlook these things,
Yes,
these small little things.
overlook,
And
overlook.
then if my wife salam, memang dia pergi, kata dia salam, cium tangan pun, I rasa, oh, that is the thing that she can, apa, that's her small act of love.
Yes,
Itulah. Okay, for me, Alhamdulillah.
yes,
Small, very small kan? Tapi
yes.
kadang-kadang macam bila fikir balik, I want something, like
Big.
bunga, big.
Um,
Perfume. Tapi tak. But then I feel like, wow, these are the little things we should be grateful about.
Yeah, I used to think, oh, receiving flowers or presents,
Mm, yeah.
birthday, like an act of love. But to be honest, my husband being there for me, through
Mm,
thick and thin, and vice versa,
mm-mm.
is actually
Yeah.
an act of love. Because
Yeah.
again, like I said, what you see on Instagram is 2% of my life. You don't see the
Ada.
hardships that we go through, the ups and downs. Normal relationship.
Ada.
Relationship.
Mm-mm.
It's we've been married. How long have we married? Nak masuk, okay, I'm going to be 22 years.
Huh?
Yeah, we've been married
Wow.
22 years. We've known each other for 25. I've known him
Mm,
more than half my life. So
mm-mm.
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of give and take. It's a lot of mutual understanding. Of course lah, kadang-kadang gaduh lah. Of course lah,
Of
kadang-kadang
course. Yeah,
problem.
I pun.
That's
Mm-mm.
normal. It's normal in
Mm-mm.
any relationship. But
Yes.
then you reflect, and then you
Yes.
think about the good times and be grateful of all the things that you have. I think people, because of social media, people compare. Oh, yang ni ada this, yang ni pergi
Mm,
holiday kat sini, oh yang ni ada kereta baru, oh yang ni ada bag baru. But you don't know what they don't have. They may envy you for things that you have and they don't have, the not material things, like a good husband, or children, or a good relationship with parents, stuff like
mm-mm.
that.
Mm-mm.
So I think
Mm-mm.
being joyful and finding joy is actually very, very benda kecil je. You don't need to have
Mm-mm.
all these, big things.
Yeah. And then occasionally, if you can, maybe if the time comes ke apa, well, eventually we'll probably get that big things. But not always, not every day big things. Lama-lama je tak ada nikmat.
Yeah, correct. Then you get bored, like, alah, again, I've had this like, I don't know, 10 times already. Tak ada benda lain. Then I'm upset, tak ada benda lain pula.
the,
It,
the only thing I don't do is
cycle.
cook. I only cook for my son aja. Wow. My wife will cook for me. And then itu dia bagi vacuum, dah ada satu vacuum cordless tu kan. Lepas tu dapat satu lagi vacuum untuk kat atas. Wah, happynya.
So you
So,
don't need to drag the vacuum up.
vacuum sekarang cordless murah-murah je
Yes,
kan.
yes, yes.
200-300 dapat dah.
Itulah.
So I happy. It's easy for me to do. For me, when I got it, I'm like, oh, nak suruh I vacuum rumah lah.
Aduh. Yeah. Yes, hint. Vivi, you need to watch the WC.
Ha.
Come on.
Terus lepas tu macam, okay, I need something better. Aku pilih yang best-best punya. Aja to get, yeah, small acts of love.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's
indeed.
costly.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap. Hobbies and all these small acts are not cheap. No, these are the things we do to nurture connections.
Yeah,
And
correct.
it's not just with families and partners and spouses. You may have mentioned this, but how do you really nurture meaningful connections with family and friends in today's fast-paced world? I mean, including social media, everything is just done, and then move on. But how do we find this genuine connection? How do we forge this meaningful connection? Because I feel like it's so easy to just forget something, not genuine as as we hoped it to be.
Right. So since we are in London, a lot of our friends are back in KL, some are in the States. My best friend is in Singapore, another best friend is in Australia. And with all this time difference, it wreaks havoc in our schedule, and it's very, very hard to keep in touch. So what I do is I prioritize quality over quantity. So even if it means having to only talk once a month or once every other month, I make an effort to schedule regular catch ups. Like, okay, hey, I can block my calendar for, say, February the 10th, 10 a.m. Malaysia, 6 p.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. UK, 6 p.m. 10 a.m. UK,
Malaysia.
6 p.m. Malaysia, because people are working. Are you able to do it? And then she'll be like, oh no, but I'll be traveling from blah, 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 would 8 p.m. work? And I'll be like, okay, it's 12 here, noon, okay, boleh lah. So then we try and speak for maybe an hour to just catch up with her,
Mm-mm.
my best friend in Singapore. But other times it's sending memes on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yes. 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 That's a small act of love. Today's kind of apa nama tu? Nurturing
Yes,
meaningful connections,
I
sending
know.
reels.
I'll have like 10 memes from her, and then I'll send another five, and then I'll send some real, like, I don't know, we're going holiday when we are in your fields, or
Ah,
stuff like that,
mm-mm.
stuff that best friends do.
Yeah,
you know, silly things, but but she knows that I think of her, and I know that she's thinking of me, because otherwise, why would we send each other memes?
yeah, betul.
With my parents, I just call my mom in the morning, sometimes once a week, sometimes a couple of times a week, depending on our schedule. Um, and with my friends over here, because we are not all nearby each other, I try and do in-person meetups for coffee
Mm-hmm,
ke, lunch ke, and ensure that I'm fully present during these moments. That means putting my phone away or putting it face down so that I don't see notifications, and because that's distraction. Because I
mm-hmm,
feel that when you're with someone, when you go with someone, you want to make that person feel important enough for you to put away
mm-mm.
the phone, eye contact, listen, and support whatever that they are going through. And to me, those moments of connections are what truly matter.
Yeah. Can
Or
put your phones away.
even a text that says, hey, I miss you, how are you? I might get
Yes,
a reply in 2-3 days time, but it's
yeah,
fine, because
yeah.
sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I get a message, I
Mm-mm.
am halfway typing and then something comes up, I put the phone away. In my head, I know that I've replied, right? And then 2-3 days later, you're like, kenapa dia ni tak reply balik ya? You go back to the
Betul.
message, you forgot to
Mm-mm.
hit send.
Mm-mm. Pernah. Ya, yes.
So, like,
Yeah,
life
that's
lives. And I'm thankful that a lot of not a lot, but my close friends are understanding of that, and I'm understanding of their busy life as well. And like I said, everyone lives in different time zones, right? Seorang tengah tidur, seorang baru nak bangun, seorang tengah nak pergi kerja, another one is cooking dinner, things like that. So we have group chat, we check in whenever we can, we reply whenever we can, and like I said, it's quality time over quantity.
Mhm.
So and I'm thankful that they don't feel slighted if I reply late or I don't check in after a couple of weeks, because I'm also trying to survive over here. So yeah, I think the older you get, the smaller the circle is, and the less drama it is. And with that, you appreciate the connections that you have.
And with all the messages you get from the people that you know and from the people that you don't know, how do you filter this too?
As in on Instagram.
Instagram, mostly on Instagram kan, but I bet every time you post something, comments, so message, story, mesti ada orang reply.
I don't enable notifications.
Also, you kena click
When I open Instagram, then I see the messages, because if I were to enable uh,
notifications.
notifications, my phone will blow up
Mm-mm.
when like when you like something, when you post something, when you comment something, notifications come in, and that is a distraction to me. So
Mm-mm.
I want control. I can be a control freak, so I need control. So the way I can control it is by not enabling the notifications. So bila I masuk Instagram or I masuk Threads or I open my email, baru I get notifications. Of course, work email is
Mm.
different. I get notifications because that's work, that's priority. But social things, I don't enable notifications. When I'm in, and then because people message me and take their time to message me, I feel that I want to reply back to, obviously also to say thanks. But of course, if rude messages, I completely ignore. I never used to block people because I think everyone have their own say and they have their own mind, so they can
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
But
yes, yeah.
lama-lama macam makin teruk, like I give you an inch, you take a mile. Bagi betis nak peha. So now I just block. So if they, but because my account is public, anyone can see and anyone can DM. So if I get, it's just more blocking lah these days. But
Mm-mm.
those people yang take their time to either comment about something or give an opinion about something, I also learn things from these people. Like sometimes they say, hey, I can't remember exactly, but hey, this is also an info for you to look out. Then I'm like, oh, thank you. It's something that I learned today. Macam hari tu I've been fasting since Monday because bulan Rajab kan, sunnah.
Rejab, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
then, Chinese Malaysian who's been living in the UK for, I don't know, maybe 20 over years, she asked me, she said, why are you fasting? Isn't it in March? So then I said to her, oh, in March is Ramadan and that is obligatory because, wajib kan. But this is sunnah. Then I explained to her what sunnah is. Like, if you do, it's good. But if you don't do, so it's tak apa. And I also say that because we're in the UK where now it's the winter time, it's easier for people to ganti their puasa. So
Yes.
she said, oh, I didn't know about, she said she knows about the ganti puasa thing because I think at sekolah they talked about it, but she didn't know about the sunnah. So she didn't understand, didn't know what sunnah meant. So she said, thank you for letting her know what it is. And she's learned something new yesterday. So
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's
Mm.
nice. At least I'm trying to make people understand. I mean, I'm not a very religious person, but I know my basics. So, when people don't understand, and if I feel that I can explain to them what it is, I would like them to understand because I know a lot of non-Muslims tend to view Islam negatively, especially in the
Yes.
Western world. Where I can and when I can, I try and tell them that no, this is not the religion. This is actually the people, the
Mm-mm.
and all that, yang make the religion sound so negative.
Indeed.
Yeah, so when I get to do these things, it's also a joy to me because I get to teach someone something. So
Mm-mm.
alhamdulillah, it's a joy. You also learn something. I also able to teach her something or let her know something. So yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and I personally learn a lot of things by watching your stories too, the things you post. Oh, ni dulu, macam ni, oh buat macam ni. Otherwise, kalau tak ada orang expose benda-benda macam ni kan,
Yeah, but
you would you wouldn't know.
I also learn these things from other people that I follow. Like, oh, macam
Hmm.
gini. Oh, this is
Yeah, yeah,
like
kan?
macam say baking because I'm really not a baker kan. So I macam, okay, how do I crease the baking sheet paper in a rectangular pan to make it not so berlipat-lipat. So then this lady was on Instagram and she would teach like how to do it. So I would go on the Instagram, post video dia, lipat macam tu, lipat macam tu. Then I'm like, okay, so this is how it's done.
Jadi.
Jadilah.
Jadi. Oh.
For instance, apa lagi? Like ni apa? Garlic. Back in KL, I used to peel one by one, kopek the kulit. But here, the mak saleh would just put in a bottle, shake,
Huh?
the skin will come off, and voila, done. Or some of my friends ambil one apa ni, garlic tu,
Hmm?
squash it with the big knife, and then it
Yes.
will come out. And then
Yes, I do that. Mm-mm.
yes. So I
Mm-mm.
never knew that because I learned from being in the kitchen. I don't know, when I was growing up in school. That's at least the thing that my mom thought. You need to be in the kitchen to know at least to potong bawang, even if you don't like to cook,
Mm-mm.
know how to potong bawang and stuff.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
would do
yeah.
that. I would peel, So I'm like, okay, there's a shorter way to this. So
Yeah.
that's how I do it. And
Senang. Mm-mm.
speaking of shortening things, my mom has this recipe roti. So we call it roti sorai. Roti jala lah. Roti sorai, roti jala, roti kirai, right? So sama. So my dad's from Penang. I kirai. So kirai, I some Singaporean friends call it kirai. Also up north, I'm not sure. But roti jala is the usual term kan that you use.
Mm. Mm-mm.
So she has
Mm.
this recipe. it's super complicated. Like, oh, you put 9 cups of whatever, and then after that you take out 8 cups of that, and then you mix. I'm like, why is your recipe so complicated? She's like, I don't know. I learned this from your nani, my grandma, and it's done. So I was like, okay, I need to simplify this because it's gonna take too much time.
Mm-mm.
So then I simplified it. Now she uses my recipe. I tanya dia, you use my recipe. Is the taste the same? She's like, yeah, it tastes the same, but it's simplified. It's easier for me. So I use like your recipe. So yay,
Tapi
rasa
rasa
senang.
sama, you get the same texture. More
Yes,
okay lah.
yes. So okay lah, yay, another joy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, another joy. See, really, happiness and joy is just homemade.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything is covered from home. Creating this joyful home, we're just speaking about. But of course, during, while creating that joyful home, there's always times that are challenging. How do you foster positive atmosphere so that anyone can create a joyful home at home?
I think the most important thing is open communication. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we try and encourage honest, supportive conversations to allow everyone to feel heard, whether they are expressing frustrations or sharing victories. And this, I have to say, is hard on us because we grew up in Asian homes, right? We grew up in KL where when your parents say no means no, it's actually a no and you don't question it. You get children who are one who was born and brought up here, another one moved when he was 9 and went to school here and brought up here as well, questioning like why. Let's say for example, Imran will ask me, Ma, can I do so and so? And I'm like, tengoklah dulu or see first. And if my mom had said that to me, I'm like, okay, we'll see first. See first, tak tahu apa benda nak see, but okay, see first. It's not a no, it's a see first, I'll take it. Imran will go, see what? What are we seeing? What are you waiting? What's the full answer? Why are you not saying no? Why are you not saying yes? And it's challenging because, sort of not really challenging authority lah, but like there are questions and questions over questions because they are of course inquisitive, and of course growing up over here they are taught to ask so that they understand things better. So we encourage that no matter how hard it is, because we feel that this emotional support creates a safe environment where everyone can navigate their challenges together. And then on top of that, we also practice gratitude no matter how small. Alhamdulillah for this, thankful for
Mm-hmm.
that, grateful for this, being able to go to school, being able to walk to school. My friends have asked, why didn't you move to the US? My first answer was, I'm not sure if my child will come back from school because of the gun laws in America.
Mm-hmm.
And,
True. Yeah.
and we are thankful that we don't have that problem here. Of course, there are other problems, but Alhamdulillah, where we are, it's safe and that. And I can, Alhamdulillah, he can go to school, he'll come back to school, come back from school safe. We have a house, we are happy most of the time, we have food,
Yeah.
we're all healthy, Alhamdulillah as well.
Yes.
So by practicing this gratitude daily, no matter how small, it also shifts the focus from stress to blessings, and cultivates a mindset of positivity even when things feel difficult.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Another important aspect is probably establishing routines that bring a sense of normalcy, like family meals, evening relaxation rituals like reading ke, listening to, exchanging our daily happenings ke, morning traditions, like I know some people do yoga or they go running or do a little bit of exercising or journaling. I think that would also help create a stable environment where everyone feels grounded. Yeah, and laughter and lightheartedness are also essential because humor can ease tension. I mean, our ice breaking just now, how much laughing will we do
Yes. Yes.
until now?
Imagine. Oh, yes.
Yeah, because it eases tension and make difficult situations more manageable. So
Yes.
thus allowing us to face the challenges with a sense
Mm-mm.
of ease. You know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. A bit of laughter can really navigate it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah. True. True. I think in today's world, the challenges are always evolving rapidly. They change like kan this year lain, next year lain pula.
Correct.
Because next time depan ni AI with robots kan. I don't know how it would challenge us, but I believe that the evolving challenges are just greater than it was. So boleh spend like maybe 10, maybe 20 years before they get to experience new challenges. Tapi sekarang cepat, every day it's something new. You got to keep up. But what if we don't? What you just said to me, I feel like this is relevant for the years to come, and I think you have such, shared with me something very real and honest, and I find it so so relieving for me to hear what you just told me. And in your most of all your inspiring stories you have, what
Mhm.
is one most significant inspiring story you can share with us to highlight the power of homemade,
I think
the helping homemade? Yeah.
I guess
Mm,
creating joy through simple everyday moments. Like
that's it.
like I
Mm-hmm.
said, cooking meals for the family, it's the way I show and express that I love and care, and I take pride in, food styling to make each meal feel special. Moments around the table, like I say, no matter how simple the meal, they are filled with warmth and connections. And seeing my youngest grow, seeing how my eldest is thriving as he navigates pre-adult life while living hundreds of miles away brings me great joy. And I've realized that happiness doesn't always come from big events or extravagant moments. It's found in these small intentional acts, whether it's cooking or spending time together or making our home a cozy and joyful space. Because I feel through these little routines and gestures, I've learned that homemade happiness is all about being present and finding joy in the details of everyday life, which is basically what we've been talking since the start.
And what would be your mantras, your daily mantras you give yourself? And what advice can you give to someone struggling to find contentment? Someone like me who perhaps find it very difficult to be happy.
Maybe start with a small shifts in perspective. Firstly, embrace the moment, the present moment. Like try to focus on what's happening now rather than worrying about the past or the future, because you can't control it, right? But you can control your present moment. You can appreciate the little things like, do you drink coffee?
Yes,
Yes. Okay. A
I
warm
drink
cup.
coffee. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like
coffee.
when your son's in school and you have that, say, 10 minutes of free time before you start doing chores or doing work or something, and you have that warm cup of coffee in your hands. Enjoy that. Embrace that present moment. Enjoy that quiet stillness,
Yes,
and
yes.
and simply notice anything, something beautiful around you. It can be the mess that your son has made before he's going to school, knowing that okay, you have a child who loves playing games, and he's there.
Mm-hmm.
He's left a mess that's for you to clean
Yeah,
up. But
yeah.
beside the point, appreciate that you have, because some don't have children, and some are still trying to have children after so many
Sure.
years.
Mm-mm.
Or you have a
Mm-mm.
spouse that has left for work. Not everyone is lucky enough to have a partner in life or a spouse. Dirty laundry, which means everyone's happy, everyone's gone out. Say if your son went for football and brought back dirty boots, he
Mm-mm.
has the opportunity to play football out there. The boots is a reminder that he's enjoying his activities, he's enjoying his time, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, of course, practice gratitude, syukur, alhamdulillah, for take a moment each day. So I try and reflect before I sleep every night on the things that I'm thankful for, and then I say thanks to Allah and make dua before I go to sleep every night. So that's what I do to remind me of all these little things to be joyful for. And you've got to be kind to yourself. I know it's easy to be your own harshest critic, because I memang critic myself every single time, but it has taken me a long while to realize that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not have the answers to everything.
Yes.
And I've learned to practice self compassion, recognize my effort, celebrate my small wins, and remember that contentment doesn't mean everything has to be perfect. Sometimes it's
Mm.
embracing the journey and not the destination.
Yes. And then it's not just contentment and being happy, it's also gratitude, and it's also feel at peace with your choices. And
Yes.
hopefully everything will come, you
Yes,
know?
of course, it's easier said than done, because there are days where I'm questioning my life choices and stuff like that.
Yes,
But
yes, yes.
it's only normal. We're all human, right?
Mm-mm,
But I would say that that doesn't happen very often, lah. But when it does comes, you indulge in it for a little bit, and then
mm-mm,
you reflect, and then
mm-mm.
be appreciative of what we have really, because we we are actually in a good place, everyone,
Yeah.
because there are
Betul.
many others in, war-torn countries, or not
Hmm.
able to have food. Kids can't go to school, women can't go to uni, women can't go to school, things like that. And we don't have that. We have our basic necessities. Cuma with social media, it just makes things very, very difficult because we tend to compare, and this comparison has got to stop. Maybe manage it a little better, because you're not doing anything good to yourself. You're only affecting your mental health.
Oh, beautifully said, Nadia. Now, before we end the conversation, Nadia Fauzi, what are your hopes and dreams?
My full name?
Yes, I've been suddenly I'm so proud. Your full name? Macam wow, Oprah full circle moment.
I don't. I hope I don't. You get to the Oprah level, Ricky.
No, I don't think I can get that kind of attention. I think it can get really dark if I really get that. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know if I can face it. I think I'm very comfortable with just people around me who appreciates me, and I know some people can take it. Some people can, just look on one side and just ignore everything. I think I would probably like apa ni message all this news macam aduh I don't know if I can take it, but
Yeah, because once you are there, you
ah
basically, all your life
boleh
is out there for everyone, whether they appreciate it or they don't appreciate it, and then they will have all the say lah. They will say you should do this, you should do
betul.
that, you should do this, you shouldn't do that, and it's going to be very difficult, because you will try and make everyone happy. And just like
Hmm.
we discussed before, and we cannot make everyone happy. Like, I know there's a saying in Malay, mulut tempayan boleh tutup, mulut manusia
Yeah,
can tutup.
tak
So
boleh. Yeah.
people can say whatever they want, but I think as long as you remain grounded and you know your self-worth, which again, it's a journey juga, because when I was younger, I would question a lot of things, like, oh, will people be happy if I did this, will people be happy I did that, will my parents be happy? Will my husband be happy?
Mm-mm.
Children be happy?
Mm.
But after a while, you realize that I need to be happy first. And if I'm not happy, no one around me is going to be happy. So, you need to find joy and happy being yourself, um,
Yes,
being alone,
yes.
eating alone, going places alone, which I'm very comfortable with. I know a lot of people are not, they need others around them.
Mm-mm.
But I'm very
Mm-mm.
comfortable.
Yeah,
I can eat alone. I can watch a movie alone. I can have coffee alone, walk alone. Shopping alone is the best, because I don't have to go everywhere with everyone. I know what I want. I
betul.
buy. I come out. That's it.
Shopping memang kena alone lah. I tak boleh dengan orang lain.
But some people shop with friends. They go here together, go there together. And I'm like, cannot.
Even my son, if I go out with him, I'm like, dia tak tahan. Dia sendiri macam nak cepat nak balik lah.
It's penat. Penat, because you have to go here, go there.
Yeah. How old is Imran now? If I may
Imran
ask.
turned 7 in November.
7.
Yes.
So around Ryan's age lah. I think
Yes.
now, like I notice that every time I bawa dia pergi see my friends, right, and
Uh-huh.
have a conversation, he will pick up everything, And now
Yeah.
I feel like I have to leave him. I have to leave him.
Telinga gajah, I call it.
Tengah. I think gajah dengar lepas tu balik.
Benda you suruh dia buat, dia tak nak dengar. The things that you tell them to do, you give them 3 things to do, they only do 1. Go out with your friends, you have conversations. In the car, Mama, why did Auntie so and so say ta 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 ta? I'm like, hey, why do you listen to my conversation? I told you to go read a book in a corner. Why you? Then he's like, oh, because it's more interesting. I'm like, you kepo lah. You next time you stay at home.
I used to have my son. Correct.
Betul kan?
Every time I do podcast, my son usually will come here, konon-konon main board dia. Sebenarnya he's listening to the conversation. Exceptionally today, I told my wife, you know what, don't disturb me. This is important call from the UK. I don't want anyone to bother me. Tapi betul kan, diorang macam, kan, boleh tahan
Yes.
I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna call that telinga gajah.
Benda orang suruh buat, dia tak buat. Dia sibuk dengan benda lain. Like, sometimes kan, he's upstairs playing in his room. And I'm downstairs with my husband chatting. Dia boleh dengar. Like, siapa suruh you dengar adult conversation?
My son pernah cerita sekali tau. I
Dia
think,
tak cerita lah, but he
tak
will
cerita lah.
ask about it.
No, this is really funny because we had an argument about money lah kan. Macam, ni siapa nak bayar ni, kena bayar cepat ni. You have to pay first because I don't have the money yet. Macam tu lah.
Right.
Lepas
Right.
tu kan, satu hari tu balik kampung, I think the grandmother tanya, apa ni? Kenapa macam ni je ni? Ryan ada duit tak? Lepas tu Ryan cakap, ada. Lepas tu nenek dia tanya, apa tak? Lepas tu dia cakap, daddy tak ada duit.
Allah.
Lepas tu semua orang ketawa tau sebab mami tak bagi duit. And it's so dangerous because the narrative bila dia cerita kat nenek dia, that's not the story.
No. 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 That's not the story. No.
That's not the story. And then you see these kids listen. And I think he was just 6 at the time. I'm macam, that's how I know. Tak boleh.
Yeah.
Jika dia kena do that when they're gone,
Yeah.
cannot bring him anymore. Masa baby dulu boleh lah.
Right.
Masa dia kecil, 2-3 tahun dulu. Selalu je bawa dia. Sekarang macam dia pick up.
And then they know the stories. And then they'll be
They know
like
the stories.
discussing with you as well. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to discuss me. This is orang tua punya story. You
Yes.
cannot get involved. So like I said, it's different from our time. Kita dulu kalau mak bapak bawa pergi mana-mana, sit one corner, read book, whatever, don't listen. Even if we listen, we don't ask our parents about it or mention it.
Yes.
Senyap-senyap
Mm-mm.
senyap. Diorang ni will ask, will say, will give their opinion. Don't ask for your opinion, okay?
Unless, tapi kadang-kadang kalau tanya, best juga ada orang ni. Kelakar.
Diorang ni tak ada filter tau.
Sebab I rasa, kadang kita dengan kawan-kawan kita, we're being ourselves.
Yes.
And sometimes we tell things, stories, anything lah, apalah, everything that's related to the daily life ke apa. It's interesting to them. Interesting than their YouTube at the time, for example. Kita bagi phone masa tu pun tak nak.
No, this life story is more interesting.
Interesting. And then ada one day kan, before we end the conversation, Daddy, can you, I want to hear your podcast. Nak dengar. Nak dengar cerita-cerita. I want to hear, this is 18 and above. Tak lah. I pasang ayat Quran sebelum tidur. Dia kata, nak dengar, I want to hear a story. Kan sometimes they want to hear story. I kata, ayalah dengar podcast. I pasang Quran, dia surah Toha. Tidur juga. Baik dengar tu daripada dengar podcast. Betul, podcast untuk adults.
Yeah. Wait another 11 years, Ryan.
No, I think another 11, he made his own podcast. And he be talking about me.
You never know. 12 years old dah ada podcast ni ikut bapak.
Kan? Tapi tak boleh. Diorang tak bagi underage buat podcast. Tapi I did inquire. Dia kata no. Below 13 tak boleh.
Below 13 Okay.
13 no. I tak tahu kenapa. Tapi I rasa it has to do with minor lah. Sebab tak ada lagi podcast budak-budak. Kalau ada pun dia bapak dia ada.
Yes. Because I think it's also to be safe. There are a lot of crazy people out there. They can be bullying as well. We never know.
And then when they talk, they don't think macam kita. We will filter certain things. Kan maybe they would things that are private. They're more ni lah. Mungkin bahaya for that quote.
Yeah.
But I need to check. I may be wrong, Nadia. Tapi masa I remember 4 years ago, 13 years and below. Sebab tu I tak pernah feature Ryan on the show. I would love to have a conversation with just for fun. And then Spotify told me tak boleh. I mean, yeah.
If you do it, let me know.
Can be fun, right?
You know what you can do? You can have a few kids and they can have a podcast and you can ask them and they can talk to you. And everyone
kita ada adult kan, like parents, and then the two
adult,
and the kids.
You tanya soalan, tengok semua all these kids, say maybe 4 kids, answer and they would give their own opinion. It'd be fun, I think.
It'd be fun, right? Kan?
Yeah, it'd be very fun.
And I know for sure kalau kita publish macam tu kena sign lah form tu.
Yes, I think
kan?
so.
But for now, kalau just social media, boleh lagi lah. Instagram tak. Parents yang post, dia orang okay lagi. Now, before we end the conversation, Nadia Fauzi, what are your hopes and dreams for your future, both personally and professionally, and especially in sharing the message and finding joy in everyday moments?
I hope and dream in continuing to find joy in the everyday moments with my family and in the small creative pursuits that make life special. Personally, I hope to continue nurturing my relationships, watching my children grow and thrive, and finding new ways to connect and create memories together, as I want to build a home filled with warmth, creativity, love, where everyone feels safe, valued, and happy. I'm especially seeing that we are here on our own. I mean, as in we don't have our extended family. So if we are not here for them, who else is going to be for them, kan? And in sharing that message, I also hope to inspire others to embrace the small, meaningful moments in their own lives. I want to encourage people to see the beauty in simplicity. So that's my 2025 goals. I hope to share more of that in my Instagram. So whether it's through cooking or spending quality time with loved ones, it doesn't have to be travels. It doesn't have to be big gestures. It can just be, it's spending time at home, playing board games, watching a movie, things like that, or appreciating the little rituals that make up our days. I dream of fostering a greater sense of gratitude and contentment in the world, helping others
Hmm.
to realize that happiness doesn't come from big events like we've discussed before, but from the love and connection we cultivate in the ordinary moments.
Well said. Beautiful. Nadia, I think you are an inspiration to me. And
You're my
I'm so
inspiration.
humbled. I'm very
All
humbled by
inspired
this.
from each other.
And I love it. I'm glad that we made this happen, and this is all worth it. I wouldn't be here today because of, you know, the things I've been through, and I think we crossed paths today for a reason, and I believe the good in this. Thank you, Nadia Fauzi, once again.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much.
Thank you.
Support the He Podcast via a one-time donation, a monthly subscription from as low as $1, a lifetime membership, and purchase He's exclusive collection of merchandise, and for all other business inquiries at buymeacoffee.com/Rafi. Thank you for listening to He. A new episode is available every Thursday, and don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We'd love to hear from you. Follow me on social media at Rafi Ridzwan and at He Podcast for all the updates and behind the scenes. Once again, thank you for listening to He with Rafi Ridzwan.